Warm-ups, an integral part to having a successful training session, but also ensuring longevity in your training career. Take it from a guy who used to never stretch and is now full of aches and pains. Together a really successful warm-up, we want to look at three different parts. The first part we really want to focus on is increasing blood flow to the area that we're going to be working that day. So using the deadlift as an example, we want to really get blood flow into the hips and the legs, as well as the lower limbs towards the ankles. So the first thing we want to look at is something like a leg swing. We'll go traditionally front to back, and what we're doing is just loosening up the muscles and getting blood flow to the hips and the hamstrings and the quads. Maybe 15-20 reps on each side. Then we can turn to more of a lateral leg swing. This way we can get the adductors and the glutes and the upper hip as well. Again, about 15 to 20. A second thing that you can do to get blood flow to the hips as well and kind of get that area loosened up is something like a hip circle walk. Both frontwards, backwards, and side to side. So Matt here would put the hip circle on around the knee. And then he'll do about 15 to 20 side steps down. 15 to 20 side steps back. And then he would turn and face, and we'll go frontwards for about 15 to 20 steps. And then backwards for about 15 to 20 steps. Focusing on the glutes, the hip flexors, and the adductors. So once we've got some blood flow and everything warmed up, next we want to work on stretching or mobilizing the different areas and muscles that are going to be inhibitory towards our movements. So again, looking at the deadlift, our hip flexors and our quads are usually tighter muscles that are going to prevent from full hip extension. So one thing we can do to get the hip flexors is a half kneeling hip flexor stretch. You can do the back foot elevated to make it a little more intense. But what we're going to do is either about 10 to 15 repetitions, or we can do this with a breathing pattern and do about 5 to 10 breaths per leg. Another muscle group that tends to be tight, especially for those who sit at a desk all day and can prevent movement in the deadlift, especially the sumo deadlift, would be the adductor group or the inner thigh. So this is a movement here we can do about 15 to 20 reps as well. That's going to get a good stretch on that extended leg. What you're doing is trying to keep the back flat and push the hips back towards the heel just to make sure that you're keeping everything neutral, but you're getting that stretch on the inner thigh. So once we've stretched out and mobilized the muscles that restrict movement and the movement of the day that we're doing, so again today, deadlifts, we're looking at the hip flexors and the quads. What we want to do is activate the muscle groups on the other side, the ones that are going to be prime movers in our exercise of the day. So for the deadlift, we're looking at the glutes, the hamstrings, and the core. So doing something like a hip bridge, where we're squeezing the butt and getting that activated, is going to allow us to get everything turned on that needs to be working. Again, doing about 10 to 15 reps per side, making sure that you're really isolating the specific muscle groups that we're looking at. So just to recap, when we're looking at creating a warm-up for a specific day, we want to make sure that we're getting blood flow to the specific muscle groups that are working. We want to stretch the restricted muscles and the tight areas, and then we want to activate the opposite side, the muscles that are going to be our prime movers for the day. This can be any combination of movements that you choose that may be specific to your needs, as long as we're going in that order and we're getting each of those checked off the checklist.
Jumpin', them boys up to something. They just spent like 2 or 3 weeks out the country. Them boys up to something, they just not just bluffing. You don't have to call, I hear my dance like Usher, ooh. I just found my tempo like on DJ Mustard, ooh. I hit that Ginobili with my left hand, though, like, woo. Lobster and saline for all my babies.